Welcome to This Explainer. I am so glad you're here with us today. We're going to unpack a really crucial topic for those of you pouring your hearts and dedicating your lives to senior care. We're looking at exactly what Go High Level's new voice AI means for senior care businesses that rely on phone inquiries. And maybe more importantly, we're diving into why every single missed after-hours call is costing you way more than you might think. We know how much dedication goes into your work, so we're going to look closely at how the right tech can actually support that mission. Okay, let's dive right in.
Starting us off, Section 1, the after-hours crisis.
To really get the business impact of these missed calls, we first have to ground ourselves in the emotional reality of the families you're serving. The tough truth about this industry is that senior care decisions, well, they just don't wait for standard business hours, do they? Life-changing moments don't neatly align with a Monday through Friday 9-to-5 schedule. I want you to imagine something for a second. You're out at dinner on a Friday night, finally unwinding after a crazy week. Do you ever pause and wonder how many families might be desperately trying to reach your community at that exact moment? It's a heavy thought for sure, but it's real. While your office is dark, families out there are in the middle of a crisis, looking for a lifeline. Picture this. Friday night reality. A parent falls on a Thursday. By Friday afternoon, a hospital calls the family to say their loved one cannot safely return home. Or maybe an adult child is just sitting at their kitchen table on a Friday evening, totally overwhelmed, making frantic phone calls to find a solution. If your community's phone rings at 7:47 p.m. on that Friday evening and goes straight to voicemail, there is a massive chance that family is going to move on long before your team even unlocks the front door on Monday morning. They're in distress and they need an answer right now. Which brings us to Section 2, the 26-hour competitive gap. Shifting gears from the emotional side to the hard data, we're faced with this staggering statistic: 78%. In high-consideration markets like senior care, nearly 8 out of 10 families go with the very first provider who responds to them. When a family is in a state of urgent need, the first voice that offers help, comfort, and a real path forward is almost always the one that wins their trust, and ultimately, their business. But here is where the whole thing breaks down. When we compare that immediate family crisis against the industry average, there's a massive disconnect. The average senior care community takes 26 hours to return an after-hours call. 26 hours! If 78% of families choose the first responder, and you're taking over a day to call them back just because it was the weekend, you've created the ultimate competitive gap. You aren't just losing a lead here, you're essentially handing them on a silver platter to the competitor down the street who actually answered the phone. So what does this gap actually cost? Let's look at Section 3, the $48,000 financial impact. We really need to reframe how we think about voicemails. A missed after-hours call is not just some minor inconvenience or a little operational hiccup. It is a severe, highly quantifiable leak in your business. Let's just pause for a beat so this number really lands. $48,000. That is the average first-year resident revenue in the senior living industry. Every single time an after-hours inquiry goes to voicemail and that family moves on to a competitor, you haven't just missed a call, you've potentially lost $48,000 in top-line revenue from one single missed placement. We call this the invisible loss. And it's invisible because this catastrophic financial hit never actually shows up on your marketing reports. It's not on your admissions dashboards or your end-of-month reviews. Why? Because the family simply never came back. They didn't leave a message, or if they did, by the time you called them back, they had already toured somewhere else. It is literally a $48,000 black hole in your operations. But there's a fix. Let's talk about Section 4, the Voice AI solution. The really good news here is that you don't have to suddenly staff a 24/7 call center to fix this. Go High Level's 2026 Voice AI update is here, and it meaningfully changes the entire equation. It's a strategic, immediate solution. Let's go back to that Friday night at 7:47 p.m. With this system, when the family calls, they don't get a cold voicemail beep. First, a professional, responsive voice answers. Second, thanks to sub-600 millisecond latency, which basically means there's virtually no awkward robot delay, the AI naturally asks what they need and checks your community's real-time calendar. Third, it puts a Saturday morning tour directly on the books before they even hang up. In less than a minute, a desperate search turns into a confirmed appointment. Now, I want to be super clear on this point. This technology acts as an operational bridge. It is absolutely 100% not a replacement for your human admissions team. Your highly trained, compassionate team is still the magic that closes the placement. Voice AI is just a tool to capture the lead during those dark hours. It makes sure that the family actually reaches your front door instead of wandering over to your competitor's front door just because they couldn't get a hold of you. All right, let's get into action. Section 5, closing the gap today. Understanding all this tech is great, but taking action is what actually stops the revenue leak, right? And the best part is the barrier to entry right now is basically zero. Look at this quote directly from the source. Go High Level's Summer 2026 promotion makes their voice AI tools free to activate for any account that has not yet turned them on. The tech you need to completely close this 26-hour gap is sitting there available to you right now, and thanks to this promo, there is zero friction to get started.
So here's my challenge to you, and I strongly encourage you to have this conversation with your team this week. I call it the immediate audit. If you're a senior care operator listening to this right now, I ask you gently, how many calls did your community actually miss last month outside of standard business hours? Seriously, go look. Once you audit your after-hours capture, you're going to see exactly how much potential revenue was lost to silence. It's an eye-opening exercise, but it's one that empowers you to make a really vital change. You do not have to just accept that invisible loss anymore. It is time to stop losing families to voicemail. To take control of your after-hours inquiries and protect your revenue, I want you to go to silvercore.io right now. Visit silvercore.io to book a call with the team or just watch the demo of this voice AI in action. Again, that is silvercore.io. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one big, provocative final thought to chew on. Let's say you take action and you secure your phone lines today. Are you prepared for how AI search is going to dictate which communities families even find first tomorrow? The whole landscape of how families discover you is shifting so incredibly fast. We're actually going to be diving deep into that exact topic in our next explainer. Until then, please take action on those after-hours calls, visit silvercore.io, and thank you so much for learning with us today.